Smoked pork shoulder on the Pit Boss. This is going to be a step-by-step video on how to marinate and smoke a pork shoulder on a pellet grill. Let's go! Alright, so let's jump right into it. You want to go ahead and rinse this pork shoulder very well and dry it, pat it dry, put some mustard and put this bonding agent, which is basically, you know, for the rub to stick well, you need a bonding agent. And all that really is something that the spices will stick to the rub really well and it doesn't fall off. Because if you just try to put the rub, let me tell you, it's not going to stick very well. You're not going to have that bark. So should I tell you what's in my rub? I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. But you know what? I'm feeling pretty nice today. And since you guys are all fans of mine and I love you guys, absolutely. So here it is. This is the Benjizi rub. Cajun, lemon pepper, garlic salt, black pepper, cumin, tajin, the list goes on, but this is it for you guys here, guys. It's pretty simple rub. I always like to make my own rub and I put it everywhere. So when you're marinating this pork shoulder, you got to make sure you get all the nook and crannies under the skin, on the side of the skin, on the skin. So let's go ahead and put some mustard on the skin as well. You want some flavor on there. Now the rub, it won't stick very well on the skin itself, but you might get a little bit that will stick, and that's good enough for me. So I still put it on there. I coat the heck out of this thing. And another thing, you cannot over salt this thing, so stop trying to be like, oh, I don't want to put too much salt. You're gonna be fine. Okay, it's a big piece of meat, don't worry about it. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, do me a favor, it's a huge help to my channel, and subscribe, like this video and share it with your friends. All right, you guys, look, be generous with the rub, and we're ready to put this thing on the smoker. Look how beautiful this looks. You guys, it's the night before Christmas. Okay, maybe not. No, it's the night before I put this pork shoulder in. And I'm kind of whispering because it's nighttime. We're about to put this pork shoulder in, guys. I don't want to wake up my neighbors, but let's go ahead and set the temperature on the Pit Boss. I'm gonna set this thing all night, so I've got to make sure I check the pellets. After inspecting it, looks like we're gonna be short on pellets, so let me go ahead and fill this thing up. So these are the pellets that I use. They're Pit Boss brand, and it's all natural fruit one. It has cherry, apple, and maple blend. Shout out to my compadre. He found a super deal, and he brought me like 20 of these bags. Yeah, ridiculous. So we're gonna go ahead and set our pork shoulder and go night-night. But this thing's ready to go. It's in the smoker, and we had it at 250, but I actually ended up dropping this to 225 because I wanted to be in smoke mode. I forgot one thing. I forgot to probe the meat. Go ahead and install this probe, and I'm actually going to lower the temp to 225. I had set it at 250, but this is going to be overnight, and I wanted to smoke a little slower, so I'm going to go ahead and set it to 225, set this probe, and I'm going to make sure that it gets to about 160, and I'm going to wrap it. We're trying to get to like 195 internally, okay? And we're trying to get this by 11 o'clock tomorrow. Right now, it's 9 o'clock at night. So we're trying to smoke this in about, you know, 12, 13 hours or so. One of the main features that I love about this Pit Boss is this probe. On this Pit Boss 850, you can put up to 2 probes. I usually only use just 1 probe, but it is nice to have the option for 2 if you're cooking a lot of meats. So go ahead and probe your pork shoulder. Put it pretty deep in there because you want to get all the way into the center of this. So let's go ahead and mark this down to 225. So it's 6 o'clock in the morning. It's been 9 hours. Let me go ahead and check this pork shoulder. So far, so good. Looks like it's starting to get some color, starting to get some bark on there, but let's go ahead and check our temp. So our temp is about 165. I'm gonna bump up the temperature to 250 and start wrapping this bad boy. So get yourself your cutting board, get your foil, and let's go ahead and wrap this pork shoulder. And what we're trying to do is speed up the process of cooking this pork shoulder because of those fats. Now let's get our butter and let's spray it down. This is gonna give it a nice little extra flavor on top of the bark, and add a little bit of rub. Sometimes when it's cooking and smoking, there's parts of the bark that kind of disintegrate, and I like to add some more. So more rub is better, and I don't care what anybody says, it is better every single time for pork. So go ahead and wrap this thing really tight. Make sure it's sealed. I don't want to see any openings, you guys. Make sure you put a lot of aluminum foil, right? Don't even sweat it. So wrap the inside, sides, everything, all right? And we're gonna go ahead and place this thing back into the smoker once it's all fully wrapped, and we're gonna let it go for a little while longer. We're trying to reach this thing up to like 180, 189, 190. And at this point, once you're at this temperature, you want to unfoil it to get that bark back, because when you foil it, the skin starts to get a little soggy. But if you just unfoil it, you get that beautiful hard bark on the outside that everybody loves. All right, so let's go ahead and unfoil this thing, and we're gonna put it back to smoke for a little while longer. And it's starting to look really good. We're pretty much almost done. I'm trying to reach that 198, 200 level internally, and that's when we know it's time to pull the pork. All right, guys, so I'm checking my smoker again. Now we're ready. 198 is just fine. Oh man, look at this baby. Let's pull it out. All right, guys, so I wanted to explain the process of the collagen fats in the pork shoulder. So basically, the pork shoulder has these stress nerves inside, which is called the connective tissue, and you need to cook up the pork to a level where the collagen is broken up, and this is where you can actually shred the pork, pull the pork. So to get to that temperature internally, you must get the pork to above 185 and above. So I like to pull my pork at about 198, 200. That's the sweet spot for me. If you go to 205, that's good, but do not go over 205, and make sure you don't pull it at 185. It has to go above. Try to be in the 195 to 200 range, and you'll be golden. All right, hopefully you guys understand what I'm talking about, and you guys will see, because if you try to pull it sooner, it'll be like a roast. You don't want that. You want it to pool. All right, guys, now for the moment of truth. Let's go ahead and take that probe out, and let's get this pork shoulder and put it onto our cutting board. And yes, it's hot, but don't be a little bee. Just put some gloves on, take it off, man. But if you want to get some tongs, go ahead. My suggestion, just pull that bad boy off. All right, and just glorify this meat for a little bit. Just stare at it, man. Just take a look. Oh my God, the crust on this thing, you won't believe how delicious the bark is on this pork shoulder. So at this point, let's put it into a pan. Get a little aluminum foil sheet, you know, and just pull this thing. Look at this in slow-mo. Oh my God, you talk about sports slow motion, I'm talking about meat slow motion pull. Now this is pulled pork, you guys. You can see the smoke ring all over this thing, and I had to sneak in and take some bites of it. So I actually had to stop recording for a couple times and just take a couple pieces, man, because there's nothing like fresh pork shoulder right off the smoker. Man, this thing took about 13-14 hours, but it was well worth the wait. So now I'm gonna do what every barbecue lover loves to do, and that's make chicharrones. Yeah, you can actually make chicharrones with the skin. So what you do is pull all your pork, then get the skin of the pork shoulder, and go ahead and put this back into your smoker. And I'm going to show you right now how to do this. So once it's all nice and pulled, put your pork shoulder to the right, cover it up on high heat, and put your chicharrones to cook. And this won't take very long. Make sure you don't burn them. Hi. Hey boy, it's my son. Jack. Say hi, guys. So this is the chicharrones. This is so delicious. It's nothing like fresh chicharrones from a pork shoulder. Oh my God, my mouth is watering right now just thinking about it. So this is the final product, guys. I like to chop up that chicharron, put it on the side, so when I display it, people can try both pieces of the pork shoulder. And this is how I ate mine. Very simple. This is how I like to do it. Barbecue, bread, and pork shoulder.